when it comes to AI, deepfakes, voice cloning, generative video, and other tools that may be maliciously wielded to confuse voters and corrupt the political process. And there is room and perhaps even a need for regulation designed to assure that these tools are not abused. But that's not what Newsom is doing. By his own acknowledgement, what he is doing is banning parody. And parody and satire have been central to American political discourse throughout our history. From the founding era, with satirists lampooning King George, through the works of Mark Twain, through the advent of television, Saturday Night Live, through the present day with The Onion, The Babylon Bee, and all manner of parody and satire on social media. It has thrived as a way for artists, comedians, and the public at large to humble those who have become too powerful and to convey truths in a particularly compelling way. Not only that, but satire and parody are clearly protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution. The Supreme Court has long held that parodies of public figures are protected even if they are, quote, outrageous. And the court has long held that any satirical statement is protected so long as it cannot reasonably be interpreted as stating actual facts. So, in short, if a reasonable person could discern that something is a parody, then it's protected by the First Amendment. So the question when evaluating this new law would be, is it stepping over that line? And we have a very clear test case in the Kamala Harris video that, in the governor's own acknowledgement, was the inspiration for the law. It's exactly the sort of thing that the law was designed to stamp out. So let's just look at a few lines from this Kamala Harris video and see whether a reasonable person would actually believe that it's Kamala Harris. The first line of the video is this: "I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate." Now, would a reasonable person think that Kamala Harris said that when they see this video, that she actually made that statement? The video goes on. It says, "If you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist." Would a reasonable person believe that was actually Kamala Harris saying that in that video? Other examples, it goes on. "I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet." Would a reasonable person believe that Kamala Harris actually said that? It goes on. "Joe Biden taught me, rule number one, carefully hide your total incompetence." Would a reasonable person believe that this is actually Kamala Harris saying, rule number one, carefully hide your total incompetence? The video goes on. It says, "My work on the border was, quote, catastrophic." Would a reasonable person think he said that? She said that? Now, one of the keys to effective satire, and you can judge for yourself whether this is effective or not, is that it actually does illuminate a deeper underlying truth. So one might argue, I would argue, that Kamala Harris's performance as border czar was in fact catastrophic. But a reasonable person will not actually believe that she is saying that herself in this video. So Gavin Newsom, in order to maintain that, consistent with the First Amendment, he can eliminate this video from our public discourse, would have to somehow argue that he thinks the public, a reasonable member of the public, would actually think that Kamala Harris would say those things. It makes you wonder about the regard that Mr. Newsom has for the public in California and across the country. But the better explanation for his behavior is just that he doesn't have any regard for the First Amendment at all. The courts have, time after time, struck down measures that he has signed on First Amendment grounds. It just happened again a couple weeks ago.